Have you ever noticed that many people work hard, earn stable incomes, and feel financially secure, yet their long-term wealth barely seems to move? My name is Jack, and I have spent over 10 years helping people navigate financial decisions, and one pattern appears again and again across different income levels and different countries. What often limits wealth is not a lack of income, but a quiet economic ceiling that most people never notice forming around them. It does not arrive suddenly, and it rarely feels like a problem at first because it develops during the very period when life begins to feel financially stable. When income first rises beyond basic needs, the financial pressure that once forced careful decisions begins to relax. Bills are manageable, emergencies feel less threatening, and purchases that once required planning slowly become routine. From the outside, this stage looks like progress, and in many ways it is. Stability is an important milestone. However, stability also changes how people evaluate money. Behavioral economists often observe that once individuals cross a comfort threshold, their financial decisions shift from survival optimization to lifestyle maintenance. During survival phases, nearly every expense is evaluated against necessity. During comfort phases, expenses are evaluated against convenience, time savings, and social norms. These shifts feel reasonable in isolation, yet over time they quietly reshape the structure of a person's financial system. Consider a simple numerical example. Imagine someone increases their income from the equivalent of supporting basic living costs to earning 30% more than their essential expenses. That additional margin appears large enough to create savings momentum. Yet if everyday spending expands gradually to absorb 20% of that margin, the remaining 10% becomes the only portion consistently directed toward long-term wealth building. This is where the economic ceiling begins to form. The system no longer restricts spending strongly enough to force aggressive accumulation, yet it also does not collapse dramatically enough to trigger corrective action. Instead, it settles into a stable equilibrium where income, lifestyle, and modest saving all coexist comfortably. History shows similar patterns during periods of economic growth. In post-war decades across several developed economies, rising incomes improved living standards dramatically, but average savings rates often stabilized once households reached comfortable consumption levels. The new stability did not eliminate saving, yet it reduced the urgency that once accelerated it. Psychologically, this equilibrium is powerful because it aligns with how people measure success. When daily life feels manageable and predictable, financial systems appear to be working correctly. There is no obvious crisis demanding change, and therefore the ceiling remains invisible. Understanding this ceiling is not about rejecting stability or avoiding comfort. Stability provides security, and comfort improves quality of life. The important insight is recognizing that wealth growth depends not only on income levels, but on the structural relationship between income, spending expansion, and long-term allocation. When individuals begin to observe their finances through this structural lens, they often notice that small percentage shifts can influence outcomes far more than dramatic income jumps. A modest increase in consistent investment allocation, maintained across many years, can gradually move the ceiling higher. In that sense, wealth rarely changes through sudden breakthroughs. More often, it evolves through quiet adjustments to the underlying system that governs how money flows over time.